Welcome back. All right, so 32 teams on the board, but not every team has either had their qualifying list revealed yet that I found, anyways. And this is kind of how this works. So if a player does not receive a qualifying offer, they're in black. I've gone through the ones that are notable. Not every player who doesn't get a qualifying offer is notable. And in green are extensions that were agreed to since the last time I did a video. And in red, we've got a trade. I'll start with the trade. So New Jersey acquires Kovacevic from the Montreal Canadiens in exchange for a 2026 fourth round pick. This is a good trade for both teams. Kovacevic wasn't likely going to get a lot of ice time in Montreal, or if he did, he might be taking that from one of their younger defensemen. So to clear up the logjam, they move him to New Jersey. The Devils, of course, a team that really needed to overhaul their blue line, and they've done so. So for New Jersey, it's a good move. For the Montreal Canadiens, good move as well. It's a cheap move for New Jersey, just giving up a fourth round pick in a couple of years, and so all the best to them. So getting into players that were not qualified, Akira Schmid for Vegas. I'm surprised by that. When they acquired him from New Jersey, I'd assumed they'd at least qualify him and talk to him. However, keep one thing in mind: a player not being qualified by a team does not mean that that team cannot then sign that player tomorrow or during the summer. So doesn't necessarily mean Schmid doesn't end up playing for Vegas. It just means they didn't qualify him, which means he probably doesn't play for Vegas, but you just never know. A couple of notables from the Canucks not qualified: Aiden McDonough and Nick Cicek. Cicek picked up from San Jose a while back. And McDonough was seen as maybe being a bottom six forward for the Canucks, and it just doesn't seem like that worked out. So neither of them get qualifying offers. So we get to Utah, and you can see this is in reverse alphabetical order. Utah surprised some today with the extension for Sean Durzi. But what they did first was they released a list of who they qualified. Durzi wasn't on the list, which caused people to say, wait, Durzi's going to market? No. It's a 4-year extension for Durzi with Utah for $6 million per season. So is that high? Yes. I am a fan of Sean Durzi. I think that seems kind of pricey. But again, we're going to see some really high cap hits tomorrow. So we'll see after the dust settles tomorrow where Durzi's contract ranks with the others. Juuso Valimaki also signed an extension with the Utah Hockey Club, 2 years for $2 million per season. I keep wanting to say Coyotes, or at least have a team name for Utah, but and that Utah magnet, it's hard to see. It's a white sticker that turned into a magnet, and it is the map of Utah. So, but I understand on your phone it's going to be hard to see. But either way, Valimaki and Durzi are both sticking around. The formerly known as Coyotes, now known as the Utah Hockey Club, didn't have a single defenseman signed a week ago. Now they're good. They've got some defensemen. Clearly, they've realized they need to have defensemen going into next season. The Toronto Maple Leafs surprised some by re-signing Timothy Liljegren. There was discussion of whether or not he was on his way out of town. He signs a 2-year deal. The cap hits $3 million per season. It doesn't mean that he's going to be with the Leafs in October, but he's very likely going to be with the Leafs in October. Liljegren, good defenseman, young defenseman. I think there's more there. We'll see what happens. Noah Gregor was the player that they did not give a qualifying offer to. The Tampa Bay Lightning, in the qualifying offer realm, they did not give a qualifying offer to Logan Brown. Nothing to report on with St. Louis, same as with Washington and Winnipeg at this point. For Seattle, they re-signed some of their players here. Henman gets a 2-way deal. At the NHL level, it's league minimum of $775,000. McCormick gets the same 2-way deal. I haven't seen what the downside of those contracts are, the AHL value. John Hayden gets a 1-way deal, meaning he'll still earn that $775,000 in the AHL as well as if he plays in the NHL. They also did not qualify Kyler Yamamoto. So kind of surprised that they didn't at least keep Yamamoto around. But remember, as I said before, not qualifying an offer or not giving a qualifying offer doesn't mean that you're giving the player up. Just that player is going to market. You still have the chance to re-sign the player. San Jose busy with not qualifying players. Of note, Kalen Addison. Addison had a decent run at the beginning with San Jose in terms of offense, but by the end of the year, that had kind of dried up. I'm not surprised he doesn't get a qualifying offer. Philip Zadina, he was betting on himself when Detroit bought out his contract last year. Zadina, I wouldn't be surprised to see him playing in Europe next year, but again, he's young. A team may very well take a chance on him. Jack Studnicka, who they picked up from Vancouver, he goes to market. And Jacob Peterson as well. So San Jose upgrading their lineup. There's some players not getting qualifying offers. I wouldn't be surprised to see San Jose relatively busy tomorrow. Nothing on Pittsburgh or Philly, so we move on to the Ottawa Senators, who did not qualify. Eric Brandstrom, Parker Kelly, or Boris Kachuk. I'm mildly surprised by Parker Kelly. I'm not surprised by the other two not getting qualifying offers. We'll see whether or not Kelly lands with a team I like. I like Kelly's work ethic. The offense isn't there. No, I'm not going to pretend that it is, but I do like his work ethic. Nothing on the Rangers or Islanders of note. Again, it doesn't mean that they qualified everybody, just when I'm looking for notables. I've mentioned the New Jersey trade, so we go past Nashville. Montreal, of course, trading Kovacevic. Minnesota, not qualifying Mason Shaw. I feel bad for Shaw. He really did his best to get back in the lineup last season. But, yeah, you could see he wasn't quite up to par. Hopefully he gets some time in the AHL this year and gets a chance to work his way back to an NHL contract soon. For the LA Kings, bit of a surprise here. They don't qualify Blake Lizotte. Lizotte's going to market tomorrow, and I think as a third/fourth line option, Lizotte's not bad. So we'll see where Lizotte ends up. Tyler Madden, I had to put Madden on the board. Canuck fans were very upset when Madden was part of a trade years back and felt that would come back to bite him. And I'm not saying all Canuck fans, but I did see some at the time. Madden is now set to go to market tomorrow. So if the Canucks wanted, they could re-sign, bring Madden back to the organization and send him to Abbotsford, but we'll see. One thing with Madden, at the time he was drafted, there was a lot of talk about size and him being undersized at the NHL level. And there's been talk, too, about who didn't get qualified and how many of these players are on the smaller side. And again, whether you buy into the idea that size makes a huge difference in the NHL or not, clearly for general managers, it does play a role. Nothing to report with Florida, Edmonton, or Detroit. And again, it's at the time I'm recording this, although Detroit's still trying to get a last-minute deal done with Patrick Kane. Dallas, busy with the not giving qualifying offers. Nils Lundqvist, not a surprise. And I've seen some people saying, oh, Lundqvist would be a good match with my team. Nils Lundqvist really played himself into the doghouse with Dallas. Absolutely did. I am not surprised they didn't qualify him. Pete DeBoer, not a fan of his game, clearly. Sam Steele, not qualified. I'm not entirely surprised. He wasn't qualified last year by Anaheim either. Minnesota didn't qualify him last year. Max Ellis, who they just picked up in that deal for Tanev, does not get a qualifying offer, and neither does goaltender Matt Murray. So there may be no Matt Murrays in the NHL next year. I don't know what I'm going to do if there's no Matt Murray when we used to have two Matt Murrays. Now we won't have any. Columbus, surprising some with not qualifying Jake Bean, but it's an expensive qualifying offer. I think it was $2.8 million. So again, it doesn't mean Bean doesn't end up staying in Columbus. They don't find a way to sign him, just they didn't want to give him that qualifying offer. Previously mentioned in a news video, mentioning here too, Alex Nylander. Despite the really good run he had at the end of the season for Columbus, he does not get a qualifying offer. Tyler Angle, who came up and played a bit here and there, he doesn't get a qualifying offer either. Colorado's on the board. I didn't have anything to write down for Colorado. I know that while I'm recording this video too, there's going to be other unqualifieds that show up. So we'll do this video, and then later on tonight, if there's other news to report, I'll be here to talk about that as well, and add other players who don't get qualified who are not on the board. Again, of note, right? Chicago, some interesting ones here. Taylor Radish. So Radish and Kachuk, two relatively young players who played together in Chicago last year. They're both going to market. We'll see what happens with them. Joey Anderson, I thought had a pretty good year for Chicago, but I get it. Now that Chicago's looking to make upgrades to their lineup, Joey Anderson becomes a player that they can part with, so he doesn't get a qualifying offer. Mildly surprised by Mackenzie Entwistle not getting a qualifying offer. Reese Johnson as well, meaning, so the Johnsons are out of Chicago then? I mean, Tyler's still there, right? So, but yeah, I got used to, for Chicago, didn't they have like 4 different guys with the last name Johnson not that long ago? Feels like everybody, and it was kind of hard to follow, like, because watching a game, and again, watching as many games as I do, I would hear the announcer of, and Johnson passes the puck. Which Johnson had the puck? Like, it was one of those things that was frustrating with Chicago games. Now, I won't have that problem. Carolina, Max Comtois, not given a qualifying offer. Calgary doesn't qualify Riley Damiani. Buffalo does not qualify Jacob Bryson or Riley Stillman, the former Canucks defenseman, as well as former Chicago defenseman. Boston doesn't give a qualifying offer to Jesper Boquist. I'm not that surprised by Boquist not getting a qualifying offer. Boston probably looking to upgrade that bottom six. In Anaheim news, Isaac Lundestrom has signed a 1-year extension with Anaheim worth $1.5 million. That's the cap hit. So it'll be interesting. And the members of Team Canada that are currently awaiting trial, which includes Carter Hart, Michael McLeod, Cal Foote, and Dylan Dubé, none of them get qualifying offers. In fact, Dylan Dubé is apparently headed to the KHL. And so, yeah, all of those players go to unrestricted free agency. I don't expect any of them to get signed while they're waiting for their court date. Once that trial is done, dependent on the whether it's an acquittal or it's a conviction, obviously it's going to make a difference. But yeah, none of them get qualifying offers, and I'm not entirely surprised by that. There was some debate about whether or not they should get qualifying offers. Should they get a different set of rules to theirs because of a unique situation? But in the end, the NHL decided nope, it's going to be the same. They talked to the NHLPA and decided it was going to be the same. So again, this is what we know right now. I will be doing another video, I would think, before the night is out. And of course, it's free agency tomorrow, so it's going to be busy. And again, any name you see in black, they could get signed tomorrow. It's going to be a very interesting free agency. And we'll see who ends up coming out as the big winners on free agent day and who comes out as the big losers on free agent day. It is that day where I sometimes feel like the smart GM might be the one that just doesn't pick up the phone. I mean, I know people would look and go, well, you're not improving your team in the offseason. A lot of teams are going to cap themselves out tomorrow. And so if you're a GM that's got a ton of cap space, your phone's going to start ringing anyways. But let me know your thoughts in the comment section below. As always, don't forget to hit like and subscribe if you've not done so already. Thank you guys so much for all your support. I will talk to you again soon.